What's going on, everybody? This is the Kilted Cajun, and I am coming to you again after attempting to record one video review on this and failing miserably. I didn't like the tone. I'm trying to work on my speech patterns. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too far into this. This is a review of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, Episode 2. I'm going to give some initial thoughts and ideas on it before I get into spoilers. Obviously, I will give a heads up when I decide to start spoiling it, although I'm not sure who's watching this or who's really going to care about spoilers. But who is this show for? It's supposed to be a comedy and it's not funny. Maybe it's my brand of humor, my taste in humor, but there's nothing funny about the show. The few attempts at jokes, to me, they fell flat. They were at the expense of superheroes that saved the galaxy, all living beings. But let's go ahead and take pot shots at their attitudes, their lives, their upbringing, their losses, because that's funny, right? That's funny. Cool. Okay. So apparently the show is made by women. The producer, the director, the writer, all these people, they come out and say that this show is by women for women, and it's but it's not funny. We have numerous shows that came before it that had main female protagonists that were interesting shows. Grey's Anatomy appealed to everyone. It was successful. It went on for God, I don't know how many seasons. Same thing with Ally McBeal and Sex in the City. These shows were 100% geared toward, they were written to be appealing to women. They had main the main protagonist was a female. I don't know who wrote the shows, I don't know who directed the shows, but the shows were written for women. And yet they were massively successful in most demographics. So what makes this different? I have a few ideas on that I've gone through quite a bit. Initially, just like the first episode, just like the trailers, the CGI is still bad. It's not it's not as bad as the first trailer, but it's still not all that great. The number one issue that I have is when you have She-Hulk walking around with size comparisons nearby. In some in some scenes she looks like she's 9 feet tall, in others she looks like she's 7 feet tall. It's obvious, it's noticeable, and I do not understand how this was not fixed in post editing. uh like, how much effort did they put into it? How much? Obviously there's lots of stories coming out that Disney is just not paying. They're not paying the CGI people, studios. So that could be something. Rush deadlines. Uh, who knows? The other problem I have is outside of one role in the show, one male casting or one male role in this episode, all the men are either morons or assholes. Why? Why is that so consistent across this? You can make them secondary while not tearing down the male character. Am I looking too far into it? I don't like going down that road of the I don't like going down that road of ideology, but when it's this noticeable, I don't know what else to say. So we're going to get into spoilers. We're going to start talking about the episode. So if you actually want to watch it and you haven't, move on. Don't watch it. Go watch the episode. Force yourself to watch it. It's boring as hell, but it's only about 20 minutes long. So, 3, 2, 1. Here we go into spoilers. Obviously, we get a recap from the first episode, Jennifer becoming She-Hulk and the courtroom scene, and all that recap from the first episode. Standard practice. The the episode starts off with the news report from the court battle between She-Hulk and Titania. Naturally, I'm not sure how to feel about the interview with the moronic, sexist man on the street, because even in the real world, you get morons. The media picks the morons to push a certain narrative. That's just how it is. We all understand it. We all know it. If you go and interview with someone from the South, they're a redneck, coon ass, no teeth. If you if somebody from Florida, they're a surfer. No, California's the surfer dudes. Florida's the old people. Take it how you will. It just seems like an overblown character that people that it's just getting boring. After that, we come up to She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, showing at the bar, up at the bar with her paralegal friend Nikki Ramos. Yes, I looked up the names and I'm going to remember them. Maybe I'm not going to remember them. I wrote them down. They show up at the bar and they're chanting She-Hulk, She-Hulk in the bar. And of course, Jennifer Walters is not happy about that. She has a problem with her newfound power taking the front stage over who she is as an attorney, as a person, complaining about the name She-Hulk, that no matter what she does, she's a derivative character. Um, and of course, her little speech in the bar after, of course, she turns into She-Hulk after drinking about three cocktails back to back. She has to make jokes, more jokes, at the expense of superheroes that came before her. Talking about one superhero with who's a narcissist, one with daddy issues, and I can't remember the other one, the other insult. But again, we have more and more insults, tearing down previously established, beloved superheroes that came before this show. That I believe even came before Disney took over the Marvel Studio, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Is there a point? Is there a purpose behind all this? You make the decision for yourself. Moving on. Whoops. Let's see. Boom. We are in the bar. Oh, this little prick here. The way they have portrayed this character, Dennis Buckowski, he's the paralegal from the first episode that complained that he should be the one doing the closing. He should be the one representing the law firm in the courtroom, saying that he would do a better job and all this other stuff. He decides to come up and starts asking Jennifer Walters, asking She-Hulk, saying that that was a nifty stunt she pulled trying to drum up publicity for her own thing. And when he asks her how she got those powers, she said she doesn't really feel like saying, and he accused her of nepotism. He's a prick. He's an idiot. And he actually says the line when he is dismissed summarily by the women because he's a skeevy little prick. I cannot. Anyway, they say the lines, "Hey, that's a hot chick over there. I'm going to go talk to it." Who the fuck talks like that? I'm serious. Who, even the most misogynistic pig of a man who sees women as objects does not refer to women as it. Who is writing this? Who is this for? But I have some good news for everybody. I took a peek at the IMDb page. He's only in 2 episodes, so we have seen the last of this moronic character, and I could not be happier. I'll go into more. We have some things that people are excited about. I'll get to it at the end of the video. So after this, She-Hulk's boss walks in to give her a little talk and wants to talk to Jennifer, not She-Hulk. So Jennifer, easily enough, with no struggle, no problem whatsoever, immediately turns back into Jennifer Walters and is instantly drunk. Sure, she had 3 cocktails back to back, but to become instantly drunk just by going from She-Hulk to Jennifer Walters, it doesn't make sense to me, and I'll explain why. If the metabolism of the Hulk and She-Hulk is so great that it processes the alcohol easily and quickly, why would the alcohol still be in her system if the She-Hulk form has already processed the alcohol. I understand all the buzz, no bar from the first episode, but that doesn't explain the instantaneous drunk when turning back into Jennifer Walters. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not. My opinion. So Boss comes in and gives her a little speech about how the previous case that they were on when she turned into the She-Hulk, was pushed for a mistrial, which obvious because of the circumstances, the fight breaking out, the jurors almost being killed, and everything. Obviously, a mistrial was going to happen because of the mistrial and the um, high profile that She-Hulk has created for herself. She gets fired. The law firm fires the woman who just saved a bunch of people's lives. Sure, it led to a mistrial, but in what world would this actually happen? Someone saves people's lives and then gets fired from their job. There would be so much backlash against this law firm for doing this. It would be ridiculous, especially because it's a woman. Not to mention that how many other law offices would jump at the chance for such a high profile attorney that the interviews in the following scene, the rejections that she gets also don't make sense. So many law offices would jump at the chance to have, look, we have the She-Hulk attorney. Look, we have the She-Hulk attorney. That would put those law firms on the map. They would get them easy free advertising that in a real world perspective, none of that makes sense. She would not have been fired in at all. She wouldn't have been fired. She wouldn't have been let go. At most, she would have been taken off the case and moved off into a less high profile position at the office until things died down. Naturally, things would not have died down because everyone knows who she is. It was all caught on video, all done with the interviews and witnesses and all that other stuff. So the firm would have no choice but to address it and would probably get a ton more business because of that. So maybe I'm crazy, but it's just it. This is just bad writing, just bad writing. So on to the montage of being denied this job and that job. Here's our interview. After one job rejection after another, we come to Nikki and Jennifer hanging out in Jennifer's apartment, going over the rejections and being sad and lonely. Jennifer is sad and lonely, even though she has her friend with her almost at all times. Nikki seems like a pretty good friend, wants to comfort her, is there for support and all this other stuff. And at this point, we do get our little cameo, our little an Easter egg of Wolverine. In case you missed it or don't care, it was revealed in a little aside ad news headline: man with claws in hand, like hand claws or something like that, in a bar fight. That's it. So maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. It definitely introduces Wolverine and the X-Men, or the mutants, whatever they're going to call them. Please God, don't call them the mutants, just call them X-Men. Oh, that's a whole nother topic. That's how they're introduced. In the process, Jennifer gets a call from her mom, text message inviting her over to dinner. Nikki can't go because she's got a date. If this is done as a dig at Jennifer, I don't know, but we're going to get some more digs at Jennifer in the family scene. Jennifer goes over to her family, and there's talk and banter back and forth. Of course, everybody knows she's lost her job. Discussion. This scene is a typical sitcom family gathering where everyone's talking at each other, or they're just talking. No one's really answering questions. It's just talk, 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 talk. Dude bro here in the red shirt, in unbuttoned shirt in the terrible ponytail, decides, makes his announcement. He's got a raise. He just got promoted to manager at the Best Buy, and the family celebrates because, hey, at least he's praised because at least he's still got a job and he got promoted. Subtle little dig at Jennifer, obviously. Excuse me. But the banter goes back and forth all around the table of just lots of talking, no answering questions. Thankfully, Dad gets to the point where he notices that, of course, Jennifer's looking stressed. So he makes an excuse to bring her into the garage to give her a nice little pep talk, which is not really all that bad, but yet again, it's at the expense of a hero. He says, it's not like the family's not used to have it's not like we're not used to having a Hulk in the family. At least you didn't destroy a whole city. So, probably in reference to when the Hulk was being mind controlled by Scarlet Witch and just went crazy, destroying everything. Not his fault. But I guess it's a subtle attempt, maybe it's a blatant attempt to give Jennifer a good father figure, a nice little speech, give her a little pep talk, and that's how that scene ends. And then we're back at the bar. For some reason, somehow, everyone is able to find all these bosses, all these people are able to find Jennifer at the bar. Is there a reason for that? I understand the bar. I can't remember what the sign outside the front of the bar was, but it looked like it was an attorney themed bar. So maybe that's where all the attorneys in the area go. That's where they just decide to let loose, hang out, and discuss this, that, or the other. Just relax. So it's apparently not uncommon to walk in there at whatever hour of the night, and there's exactly who you're looking for. Sorry, still kind of strange, but the head of the law office that was involved in the case that Jennifer's law office was against decides to show up and offer her a job. They are starting a superhero division of their law firm, and they want Jennifer to be the head of it, be the, I guess, the poster boy, poster child, poster girl, whatever. They want her to be the representative of it. She accepts it under the stipulation that she hires her own paralegal. The guy couldn't care less who her paralegal is. So, in that sense, Jennifer's a good friend. She wants to make sure that her friend Nikki always has a good paying job. I don't think Nikki got let go from the office from the previous office, but there you go. So Jennifer shows up at the law office, and she's just human. She shows up as Jennifer. Well, her new boss explains to her that because it's a superhero division, he wants She Hulk to represent it, and she wants Jennifer to be She Hulk essentially anytime she's on the clock. Jennifer complains a little bit, but reluctantly turns into She Hulk and gets a nice little tour of the office and sees the old people. And the whole time she's complaining, doing a fourth wall complaint that I didn't even notice up at first. It took me a second. That's probably some poor editing and maybe some sort of cue. Maybe not break the fourth wall while you're moving and someone else is talking to you. There's I think there's better ways to do it. We'll see how they go for the next 7 episodes. But her complaint is she complains about the only reason she got the job was because of She Hulk, not because of any sort of merit, not because not because she's good at her job. It's almost like I'm wondering if the show's trying to be a little self aware, you know, bringing up merit versus checking a box, and how one is maybe not so good, one's better than the other. But anyway, let you decide on that one. I just thought it was rather funny. The first case that Jennifer is supposed to get involves the Abomination. Emil Blonsky. Jennifer makes it a point to talk about a conflict of interest because Blonsky tried to kill the Hulk, tried to kill Bruce Banner. Well, Of course, big mean man, boss man says, yeah, that doesn't really matter because Blonsky's already signed a waiver, uh, a conflict of interest waiver. He wants Jennifer to represent him. Okay. She's hesitant about it, but goes to have a little sit down interview with Blonsky. And in the prison, where Blonsky is going over and over, he's so much better. He's turned over a new leaf and obviously lying his ass off about how it's the government's fault. They're the ones that made him do it. He was just following orders. Anyone who's seen the other movie or anyone who understands Blonsky's motivations from the other movies knows he's lying his ass off. It's easy enough. It's easy enough to see. Unless you're Jennifer, in which case you are absolutely blind to the sign painted on the billboard directly in front of you every 10 feet. So talking about Blonsky's talking about he's written haikus to show how remorseful he is, and about the 7 pen pals, his soulmates that he wants to go have a farm off in somewhere. So it's if that was an attempt at humor, yet again fell flat. So obviously Jennifer, she has a she's torn about all this. So once she gets home, she calls old Bruce, who is sitting at his desk that you assume it's on his island in Mexico, but no, he's actually on a ship heading out into deep space. Where that's going to lead, we don't know. But there's talk back and forth. It's mostly Jennifer talking and Bruce, Hulk, Smart Hulk, trying to get a word in here and there. But essentially, it gets to the point where he tells her that, well, you've already made your decision. You just want to okay it through me. And Hulk says he's fine with it, that Blonsky had already sent him an haiku, and they used the term. It's like, I'm literally, or I'm a completely different person, literally. Uh, and he goes off into space. So Jennifer, with this newfound knowledge that Bruce is okay with her taking on a case from the man that tried to kill him, she calls her new boss and lets him know that she'll take the case and she'll do her best and she's gonna win. Only to find out that the boss says, "Thank you, I'm glad you took the job. Go ahead and turn on the news. The Abomination has broken out of prison and is involved in some underground street fights." And outside of the extra little scene at the end, this is where our episode ends. The scene at the end is not bad. It's She-Hulk doing menial stuff, helping mom and dad out around the house, lifting up the car to help change the tire, mounting the TV on the wall, bringing in gallon water bottles, like six, carrying in 6-gallon size, and it's basic stuff what She-Hulk would be doing, trying to have a normal everyday life. And I don't think it's all that bad. It's just a little something. It serves no purpose except to maybe move the story along to show that she's trying to have a normal life. And that's where the episode ends. My nothing really happens in this episode. That at best at worst the pacing of this episode and the first episode is just one thing after another. It's just move on, next scene, next scene, next scene, next scene. There's no time to absorb. No, there's no time to digest Jennifer losing her job or the reason why she lost her job. There's no time to process her interview with Blonsky. There's no time to process her tour and the ignorant schmuck that brought them the care basket with a map of the best places to poop. Which, what? Okay, we have another idiot. It's so fast paced, in a rush, in a hurry to get on to the next scene that it fails for me. Uh, at best, we now have an idea of when She-Hulk takes place, which seems to be a better job than Loki or Let's see. Loki, Falcon and the Winter. No, we knew when Falcon and the Winter Soldier took place. It took place during the blip or after the blip. I can't remember. But I think this one does this series does the best job of letting you know when it takes place, because the underground fight scenes with Abomination, that's Wong in there, those take place during Shang-Chi. So if nothing else, we know She-Hulk takes place during Shang-Chi, if you actually even watch that one. Overall, meh. Okay. I'm going to continue watching it. I know a lot of people are going to be excited about a few things because, like I said earlier on, I went and checked out the IMDb cast because I had to write down the names of these people. So, Douchey McDouchepants attorney partner that was in the very beginning of the first episode, Dennis Buckowski. He's gone. He's so gone. I'm so happy. It might be tolerable. A more moronic character. How could he possibly? How could you don't get into a job at a law firm with that mentality, with that mouth? I just don't see that happening. There was no professionalism about him, and he was just a absolute douchebag. But he's gone. Yay! Anyone wondering when Daredevil's going to be showing up? Guess what? He's going to be in the next episode, guaranteed. Also, Titania's coming back. She's going to be in the next episode. Who else is coming back? Eventually, Wong's going to be back. We have 7 episodes left, right? There's 9 episodes, and I think Wong's going to be in the next episode. Bruce is going to be in every single episode, whether he has Bruce, whether his voice, either it's his voice for some kind of communication because he's fucking off into space on the ship that made them crash to begin with. No explanation there. No follow up whatsoever there. Is there going to be one? We'll see. But people are going to be excited about Daredevil. I know a lot of people that have firmly believed that they are going to completely ruin his character from the Netflix adaptation. I don't see how Disney is going to be able to keep that theme, to keep Daredevil as Daredevil. He's going to be less violent. We'll see how it goes. But Titania's coming back. We'll see if she can redeem herself. And Wong's going to be showing up very soon. We'll look forward to seeing Daredevil and see how they keep him up or destroy him. Who do you think? Who do you think Charlie Cox is going to be working for? What law firm is going to be working for? Is he going to be against She-Hulk, working with, not She-Hulk? Is Charlie going to be working with Jennifer Walters or against her? I guess she's going to be She-Hulk in the law firm, but we'll have to wait and see. I look forward, in a manner of speaking, only to a certain extent, to the next episode. I hope you liked it. Please leave a like, leave a comment, share if you do so desire. Leave a thumbs down if you didn't like it. If you thought it was crap, let me know what you think, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.